balancing the noise, the soundtrack for ABC 57, so your video syncs to your audio for all of your candidate statements. I'm Elizabeth Bennion, and I would like to welcome you to this Meet the Candidates Forum. We are here in the beautiful, newly renovated auditorium of the St. Joseph County Public Library. And I welcome you on behalf of the library and also the League of Women Voters of the South Bend area and the American Democracy Project of Indiana University South Bend. Tonight, we have an opportunity to hear directly from the candidates in their own words about the issues that matter to them and why they believe that they're the best choice for you on Election Day. Sometimes during midterms, we think about the U.S. Senate race and the congressional race, and often people don't know as much about people running for county-level positions, like the county commissioner, the county council, the assessor, the auditor, the circuit court judge, the sheriff, right, as well as the county council, the trustees for their township, and trustee board members. And so this is an opportunity to really get to hear from those candidates who you might not know as much about, but who are there for you in your community to try to address issues that will affect your daily life. We know that we have a number of people joining us through the live stream today, and we are very glad that you're joining us as well. And we are going to start with some candidate debates. Now, these are mini debates, 15 minutes each, featuring people who are running in contested primary elections. With the League and the American Democracy Project, we appreciate contested races in both the primaries and the general election because it does give people that choice when they go to the polls. And so we especially appreciate candidates who are willing to stand side by side and to share their views and their priorities with you. We are going to start this evening with the candidates for county clerk, and they are Lana Cleary and Ann Delusky, and I'll have them come up to their respective podiums, and we'll start with some questions about those races. Each candidate will have 60 seconds for an opening statement, and there are students with time cards in the back. They can hold those up for you, and so you can see how much time you have left, 60, 30, 10, and time. Then, throughout the debate, they'll have 1 minute to address the question. The order of response will rotate, and they also have 30 seconds for what we normally call rebuttal, but could also be response, right, to what the previous candidate has said. And so that will be for the candidate who spoke first. We are going to hear first from Lana Cleary.
Hello, I'm Lana Cleary, Democrat candidate for St. Joseph County Clerk. I'm a lifelong resident of St. Joseph County, and I was born and raised on the southeast side of South Bend. I've worked for the clerk's office for over 20 years, and in that time I've been involved in the day-to-day operations of the clerk's office since the day I started. My duties have included managing budgets, personnel, vendors, and many other duties. I have assisted with countless elections from start to finish, and I've worked as a liaison between many county offices and the courts. Our office is primarily responsible for election and judicial processes. These are two incredibly important government functions. I'm running for the county clerk because I believe in this office and the clerks that work there. As county clerk, I envision transparent leadership and employee empowerment. I plan to continue the digitization of files, which helps streamline employee duties and make workflow more efficient. I will implement many more projects that benefit the employees, judicial system, and public. I am running for county clerk because I wish to also serve the citizens of St. Joseph County.
Thank you, and right on time. All right, we hear next from Ann Delusky.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Ann Delusky, and I'm running for the Democratic candidate for Circuit Court Clerk. I have worked for the clerk's office for 17 years, where I have served the judges, attorneys, and the public. My duties, the duties of the clerk's office have many hats. We certify the elections. We are the keeper of all proceedings in the courts. Sorry, I'm nervous. We need strong communications, and my vision is simple. We need more training for the departments, for the employees, for a better workflow, to give all clerks the same opportunity, and I believe that I can accomplish that by working together. Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. Our first question will go first to Ms. Dulesky, and it is, what is the biggest challenge facing the clerk's office, and how will you address it?
Biggest challenge? I think that we need cross-training. I don't think that the departments are able to help each other out, so I want to implement that.
Better coordination between the departments. Thank you. Ms. Clary?
I agree with Ann. We do need more cross-training and more uniformity in the training between all of the offices, whether the location be.
All right, the second question will go first to you, Ms. Clary, unless you have anything to add. Okay. What skills or experiences do you currently have that you think make you the best choice for county clerk?
I feel I'm a more well-rounded candidate for the office because I have done a multitude of duties in the clerk's office, from the financial side of it to the election process from start to finish, to communications with all county offices, and I feel I'm a more rounded candidate for those reasons.
Thank you. Ms. Dulesky,
What was the question?
what makes you the best candidate for county clerk?
I'm sorry. I just feel that we need communication and more workflow with the people in the court's office and in the clerk's office, and I think I can bring that. I've had different forms that I have filled out for people, and they do use those in the court system now, so I want to implement that a little bit more too.
Okay. The third question will go first back to you. Actually, unless you have 30 seconds, if you want to add
No,
anything.
I'm good.
Okay. Ms. Dulesky, so it is the clerk of the circuit court serves as the secretary of the county to the county election board, which is responsible for conducting elections in St. Joseph County. What are 2 changes you will make to improve election administration in St. Joseph County?
Now, I really haven't had a lot of experience with the election stuff, so I have a few ideas, and I'd like to be able to sit and talk them out and see what we could do.
Okay, Ms. Clary?
Could you repeat the question again?
Yes. What are 2 changes you will make to improve election administration in St. Joseph County?
I mean, I guess continue with bipartisan, collaboration with the other party, because I've been in a lot of, in the election board meetings, I am the minute keeper, and I think it's really important, communication and bipartisanship with the other party and working together in unity. Because in St. Joseph County, as in America, elections, everybody's vote should count, and it's a priority to work together in that unity for the good of the citizen and, more importantly, the voter.
Ms. Dulesky, if you have something to
I
add?
totally agree with her. Yeah.
All right. The next question will go first to you, Ms. Clary, which is, the clerk serves as trustee of child support collections ordered by the court to be paid through the clerk's office. Is the county doing an adequate job of collecting those child support payments? And if not, what would you do to improve this?
Well, the clerk does collect child support payments. They don't enforce child support. And I think our office, I've witnessed all 3 locations do an excellent job with the supervisor that's been there for over 40 years and is very thorough and meticulous. Over the last 20 years, I've watched child support collections, about 80% of them go now to the state, because now the state does them through the statewide system, where they require employers, to send payments directly to them, and they've made it more available for non-custodial parents to make those payments also online there. We do still collect them next year. Next year we will be moving from ISETS to Invest, a new computer program that the state has implemented. And so we will continue to take them, but I think the state is pulling a little more and more to take those. But we will always be here to serve and take child support payments. We've also, in the 20 years I've been there, we can do them where they can do payments online with credit cards. So it makes it a lot easier if they don't want to come in or time's an issue. So that's a wonderful new component too.
Thank you. Ms. Delusky, child support payments.
So child support payments, it's very important that, you know, the parent get the money. We have a good system that is set up right now. So I think that basically we can just keep doing the same thing that we're doing, maybe add to it. We have a lot of court orders that come through that we can do right straight to the employer, which helps everyone out, and they can get their money a lot faster.
All right. Anything to add?
No, that's good. Thank
All
you.
right. Now, the clerk also acts as chief financial officer to the courts by collecting, dispersing, and reconciling monies related to court cases. How will you ensure that these funds are collected, and do you have any suggestions for improving the efficiency and effectiveness of the current system, or do you feel like it's exactly fine the way it is? We go first to...
I believe that we are doing an excellent job in collecting and tracking them with, again, another system, which is going from the old computer system, which tracking financial stuff was a little bit more of a struggle. Going to the Odyssey system, it has made life a little easier to track and reconcile those payments and where they have gone. I've watched it front row doing a lot of the bookkeeping or working with the bookkeepers. So I would say that I think the clerk is doing an adequate job. There's always room for improvement, but while Odyssey is not perfect, I'm extremely happy with the way we are able to take in money in trust or disperse, or fees, and how they are dispersed out in a more accurate way.
Thank you. Ms. Delusky.
So there's reports out there that you can actually pull from the computer system to let you know who's paid, who hasn't paid. And with that report, you can contact those people and find out, you know, hey, where's your money at? How are you going to pay this? When are you going to do it? So with the two computer systems putting together, we just need to take all of the old stuff from the old system into the new system and make a report so that we can actually be more adequate with where our disbursements are going.
I would like to add with that, as far as old money, we have transferred all of the old money and the bank side of it over to Odyssey and created a legacy account, which our office is currently working on to apply all that old money to inside of Odyssey, create shelves and cases and put the money in there so that could be tracked, and also see if any of that bond money can be sent to the state, or if there are fees that are owed. So yes, it is going in the right direction. It's going to probably take several more years, but it's going that way. And I personally would like to speak for the financial side of the clerk's office, doing an excellent job doing that.
Okay, the next question will go first to you, Ms. Delusky. Both of you mentioned employee cross-training. What specific steps would you take to promote such training, and what specifically are those training needs?
We just need better workflow. I think that's going to help a lot. Moving people from department to department so that they can know other people's jobs is going to be very important. Just cross-training is very important. You know, when someone leaves and they're on vacation, we got to make sure that they're covered, and I feel that, you know, we can make that work if everybody works together as a team.
Ms. Clary?
Yes, I agree. Cross-training is very important. Uniformity is very important. And it is very important when employees do go on vacation or quit and retire. I would also advocate for more. We've started implementing in the last several years in several of the departments training manuals too, which I think are immensely important and help out tremendously, and also sharing information between offices. Sometimes it's sharing information of how things done in our circuit, South Bend clerk's office, and kind of help assisting with maybe the Mishawaka ones, or vice versa for that matter. So I think cross-training and better workflow, because I will also add that, oh, he's telling me to stop. Okay, never mind, I'll rebuttal.
You have 30 seconds.
I'm fine, thank you.
Maybe you'll be able to work it into your next answer, I'm not sure, but this question is about digitization of files and availability of information on the website. You've already mentioned you don't think it's adequate. What would you like to do to further that process, and why would it be helpful to digitize more files and make those available to the public?
I will say in brief, when I first started, the only way to see anything really about court cases, the computer system would just basically have the cause number, a couple little blurbs, and you had to have the flat file. Now we've been scanning all of the old files, and everything going forward from 2017 with e-filing is in the computer, and unless it's sealed by the court, is readily available for attorneys, clerks, the public, the prosecutor, and it's amazing, and it helps out so much. And I would continue that process. And also, we've been digitizing a lot more of the marriage licenses too. And we've also, on the county's website, I'm the web administrator, trying to update that more and more, and it's still a work in process, but information available for the public to order files or ask it questions or something like that, that's what I would do.
Ms. Dulesky?
Could you repeat it?
Yes, in terms of digitizing of files and also making information available to the public, what improvements would you make?
So like Lana said, we have been scanning, all the old files, and there is a link right now that's out there that goes nowhere. So one of my things that I would like to do is to get that link pulled in so that when someone gets a notice in the mail, it says, contact this, link, and you go to it, and there's nothing there. So I'd like to work on that, trying to figure out why it's not, and so that the people can see the link and go from there to see what is going on with their case.
Yes, I would agree with that. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
That is an issue I think Odyssey is having, and it's something that needs to be addressed because it does make it frustrating for the plaintiff, the defendant, to see why they received a notice in the mail. So
And we spend thousands and thousands of dollars on postage,
the county does, absolutely.
Yes, we do, and it comes right back to us.
All right, going back to that function in administering voters and serving on the election board, how will you ensure access to voters in rural areas and those with limited access to transportation? Has access to vote centers been adequate, in your view, in recent years? Ms. Dulesky?
Like I said, I've done a whole lot of the stuff with the election stuff. I can look into it, and, I'll be ready for day one.
I would agree with you because it has been a struggle in the last couple of years, especially out in North Liberty, Walkerton area, in those rural areas. The election board has always strived in importance to make sure that there are enough vote centers in those areas so that everybody can have the ability to vote. As far as access to getting to vote centers, I mean, I don't know if that really falls under the bailiwick of the election board, but they have always strived and worked with and listened to, if voters come to the election board meeting for public comment, or the parties come and express their, issues with that. So the election board does continue to strive for that all the time, especially in those rural areas.
30 seconds if you need. Okay. All right, final question before I let you give a brief final comment about why people should vote for you on Election Day is there anything that the clerk can do to ensure that candidates submit accurate and timely financial reports? Mrs. Dillon.
I don't think so. To be honest, there's just so much to it. We would just have to have a team work together, pull them together and find out what they can do to try to do it.
At the end of the day, it is the candidate, sorry you guys, responsibility to have their financial reports turned in a timely fashion. I think the party chairs are doing a good job of kind of going out and reminding through emails and that. I don't know, short of maybe putting it on the website or something like that, but a lot of these things are the candidate or their team's responsibility. So it's not that we don't wish to help the candidates in any realm of filing financial reports or whatever they do, but if there's one little step of misinformation, then that could be an issue. So we're always here to help them, but it is ultimately, they do have the state website, and it is it gives a lot of information and is very helpful. So,
Any final thoughts on that? Okay. All right, we have just 1 minute left, so we'll give you each 30 seconds to make the pitch. Why should primary voters vote for you on Election Day? Ms. Clary.
okay. I would like to say that I feel I am the most qualified person for this position with a multitude of experience that I believe no other candidate can rival. I will serve this office with integrity, transparency, and professionalism. I am very passionate about this office and serving the community. So for these reasons, I wish to be the next St. Joseph County Clerk.
And Ms. Delusky.
My vision is simple. I just want workflow, people to be able to be cross-trained. I want the clerks to have the same opportunity, every single clerk, and I think that I could do that.
Thank you to both of the candidates.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you. Folks who run for primarily administrative roles aren't often asked to debate. So again, we certainly do appreciate that willingness to do so. We know it's not always the most comfortable thing to do, so great job. A good way to start us out. Now, we turn next to the commissioner candidates for First District, and I'd like to welcome Mike McManus and Don Westerhausen. Michael McManus and Donald Westerhausen to the stage. We will once again begin with 1 minute opening statements, and in alphabetical order, we start with you, Mr. McManus.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. My name is Mike McManus. I graduated in 1972 from the University of Notre Dame with a degree in a government degree. I then went to Tulane Law School, graduated with a law degree in 1975, and then went to what was then my home in Virginia to practice law for 40 years. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, so I'm going to get it out of the way right away with advance apologies to Judge Broden and Mr. Cotter. What do you call 100 lawyers at the bottom of Lake Michigan? Good start, Jason, you're right on it. Why are there so many lawyers in Washington, D.C., and why is there so much trash blowing around New York City? New York got first choice. Hopefully during the questions, I will be able to let you know exactly why I think jobs, safety, dignity for all of our citizens are the things that we must focus on over the next 4 years.
Thank you. We turn next to you, Dr. Westerhausen.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Donald Westerhausen, and I want to be your next county commissioner. I've been married to my high school sweetheart, Joanne, for 41 years, and together we've made our home and raised 3 children here. And now we're the proud grandparents of 3 grandchildren. Too often we hear how changes are made that benefit the people at the top or in the know. Those changes are being made behind closed doors and without any public input. That must stop. I am interested in progress that benefits everyone and prioritizes an improved quality of life for all families who live and work here. You deserve better. You deserve transparency, integrity, and trustworthiness from your county commissioner. I will bring those qualities to the position and work for you. That's why I'm running, and I'm asking for your vote today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both candidates. Now we will turn to the questions. The first question will go to you, Dr. Westerhausen. What are your top 2 priorities as commissioner if elected, and why these?
Economic development and public safety. And I think those are 2 of the things that county commissioners really need to focus on. We need safer communities. I think that Sheriff Redmond has done a great job. I think he has some good ideas about public policing and how to do that better and make our community safer, and I'd like to work along with him to do that. As far as economic development, I think part of economic development is how to bring the public along and have the public have input into what we need to do. And I think everybody here who's interested, we know that what they did out in New Carlisle with the IEC was just a way of not doing things correctly on how to bring the public along and how to spend money for economic development. So those are my two main issues.
Mr. McManus.
I agree with Don completely that the top priority of the executive branch of the county should be to improve our economy. We need to get better paying jobs here to reduce financial disparity and economic inequality. We must do more for families so that families can live by giving access to better child care and earlier pre-K schooling. We are lucky to have a terrific sheriff, but we need to make sure that we continue to provide the sheriff, firemen, EMT, all with the funds necessary to keep our community safe. We have great personnel, we just need to make sure that they're funded.
Thank you. 30 seconds, Dr. Westerhausen.
I couldn't agree with Mike more. That's why we can't be wasting money on things like what was done at the IEC. And we need to concentrate on improving and streamlining our services like the 911 facility, things like that.
Thank you. The next question will go first to Mr. McManus. It is the county commissioners supervise construction and maintenance of roads and bridges and provide for traffic control. What grade would you give the county on infrastructure? And what suggestions do you have for future improvement?
I wouldn't give an A. On the way over here, I almost lost my right front wheel by running into a pothole. So I think we need some greater efforts in that. And I know it's hard because there's a limited amount of money to be spent on roads, bridges, and things like that. We need more help from the state. We need more help from the legislature. But we need to work on the infrastructure greatly in the county.
Dr. Westerhausen.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to dive into more of the weeds into this and how are public contracts given and what kind of companies do we use to do public work projects? Are we, actually optimizing the money we're spending, or are we limiting it because we're concentrating on just a few companies? As far as a grade, I'd probably give our county probably a C and hopefully going on to a B. But again, I think that goes along with transparency and integrity and looking at what's best way to spend our funds.
Mr. McManus.
One of the things we clearly need to do is not follow the steps of the current commission. We all saw what has been happening out in New Carlisle, where there's apparently this vision that build it and they will come. We need to make sure that our landowners and our citizens are all consulted before there are any new projects. But that's the most important thing, is that the commissioners work on ways to attract business. We have a world-class university here we should be working with to attract more and more better-paying jobs here to St. Joseph County.
Thank you. The next question will follow very well from that, and it is the Board of Commissioners is charged with developing economic development programs to attract and retain jobs in the county. What specific actions do you propose to promote and retain well-paid jobs in St. Joseph County? Dr. Westerhausen.
I don't know about specific actions other than to take a look at, what we've done in the past and how to make it better in the future. For example, with the IEC that we've all talked about, the issue with that is, how do we take half of our surplus and spend it in some place that we don't even have any jobs for? And why didn't we use that in a better way to use smaller amounts of dollars to modernize or improve like the downtown or the historic areas of New Carlisle? The other thing I think that the commissioners have done a poor job with is to go out and actually, promote the county and try to bring jobs in and try to bring people here that, that will have good paying jobs. Last is, I think you're right, we have a lot of good universities here, and we do. And the thing is how can we work with our universities to provide a stronger workforce so that we're going to be more attractive for companies to come in? And I think the county commissioners need to be a conduit for that.
Mr. McManus?
I agree with that 100%. Not only do we need to work with all of our great universities in the community, we need to support our unions. We need to make sure that our unions are able to fairly compete for all the jobs and all new projects that develop here in St. Joe's County. I think we need to have greater emphasis in our schools on training students in jobs that aren't necessarily determinative for them to go to college. We need more training for high-paying, good jobs.
Thank you. Dr. Westerhausen, 30 seconds.
It's hard to argue with that. I think unions are incredibly important. I paid my way through college as a laborer, so I know about that. The other thing, as far as unions go, is we've also got to make sure that for economic development and for making sure that we do well by working families, is we need to make sure that local workers are going to work in local projects. So we have the solar farm out coming in New Carlisle. And I think it's really important for our council to have an agreement where we make sure that local workers and union workers are going to be the ones who are going to be building that project, things like that.
Thank you. Then, I'm just trying to see here, make sure. Okay, yep, you were last, right? So we'll go to the next question, and it will go first to you, Mr. McManus. Please discuss one or two things the county should do to save taxpayer money or to better utilize the existing budget.
The difficulty we have here in St. Joseph County is that, on the one hand, we want to make this an affordable community, and on the other hand, we have great aspirations to move forward. So we have to be constantly thinking and looking at line by line. It was just printed a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago in the South Bend Tribune, line by line, how much money we spend on various categories, on roads and on things like that. And we need to cut out the fat. And we also need to think, again, going back to my key point, how do we get better paying jobs to reduce the great inequity in income, not only in South Bend and St. Joseph County, but across the country?
Dr. Westerhausen?
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think part of the issue is you have to be a commissioner almost to get into the weeds to find out exactly where the money's being wasted or where it could be better utilized. I think the other thing is a lot of our systems, after I'm having some interaction with it, are fairly antiquated. And we need to modernize things. That takes money. And how are we going to do that is going to be a balance. So I think once I'm commissioner and once you get in there and you look things line by line, you might find some things, but ultimately what we need to do is be good stewards of people's money, but also move forward, and we need to do things like modernize, because ultimately that's going to save us more money.
Mr. McManus, 30
I
seconds.
agree with Don. Transparency is the most important thing. I'm so grateful to all of you that came here to hear Don and I and the other candidates tonight. We need to do that at every commissioner meeting. We need to do that at every council hearing. We saw what happened when the commissioners did their gerrymandering thing a couple of months ago. It was terrible for democracy, terrible for St. Joseph County. So we need to have complete transparency and full participation by all of you.
That leads in perfectly to the next question. They did not have the questions ahead of time. Should commissioners be elected in districts or at large? And do you support the establishment of an independent, countywide, bipartisan, or nonpartisan redistricting commission to draw district maps for commissioner and council districts? And this goes first to you, Dr. Westerhausen.
Yes. I mean, one of the reasons I'm here is because of this whole gerrymandering thing. You just can't let people get away with, doing crony capitalism and just basically grabbing power. So yeah, I absolutely support that on a county level. I support that on a state level. we should be transparent. We should be cooperative. I mean, for God's sakes, this is county government. This isn't state government or, national government. We should be able to work with the other side and come up with an agreement. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't privy to all the stuff that was going on, but it seemed to me that the Democrats, especially in the beginning, tried to bend over backwards to the Republican commissioners with no benefit. And what did that get us? Here, about saving money, we're probably got to have a bill of about what? 500,000, $1 million bucks, 500,000 to 750,000 for lawyers' fees, which Mike knows all about, to do this. So it's just a waste of money and time, and we can do better. And as commissioner, I'll do better.
Mr. McManus?
Yes, I do know about lawyers' fees, and $300,000 that was spent was completely unnecessary and never should have had to have been spent. In answer to the question, I think that commissioners and council members should be elected on a countywide basis. We are one of the few counties, I think one of only two, that have a special provision for us set by the super-dominated Republican legislature. We are set apart by a small number based on population, and that's just wrong. As Don said, democracy demands the participation of all of the citizens, and we ought to be able to work together to come and have the best government that we can.
Dr. Westerhausen?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I agree. It should be a countywide election instead of just district election. The other thing, too, is you're right about the supermajority in the State House kind of targeted us. We get targeted all the time. And that's why we need to support people like Mindy Fountain and Ross Steele to go down to the State House and fight the good battles for us and start changing the tide of what they're doing downstate, because it's certainly not involving and helping normal people.
Last question before I give you a chance to make your final pitch, and it is about public safety. What exactly can a commissioner do to promote public safety, and what's the first step that you would take? Mr. McManus.
Well, one of the responsibilities of county commission is to make sure the money is spent properly. As I mentioned before, and it's not just because he's in the room, it's because I've had interaction with his deputies. We have very good safety in this county, I believe, based on my own personal experience in dealing with our sheriff's department. We need to make sure that the resources are there for Sheriff Redmond, for the fire department, for the EMT, all. That's one of the top priorities that I see for a commissioner to have, is to make sure that the public is safe.
Dr. Westerhausen.
Fiscal responsibility is important, but I think, we need to look at things that have worked and things that haven't worked. When I talked to Sheriff Redmond about some of the issues, one of the things that's driving crime in this community is drugs, guns, outside influences, gangs. And when we used to have, a commission, or at least a division of law enforcement across the county that would go in and handle those kind of issues, which we don't have anymore. And Bill, you can correct me, I mean, right now, the county is handling calls from South Bend 4 times a week, something like that, greater. So there's got to be some cooperation, and that's something we haven't gotten into. How does the county commissioners cooperate with, like, Dave Woods in Mishawaka or Mayor Mueller? And those are the kind of things that we're going to need to look at, because without cooperating with the municipalities in the area, we're not going to optimize what we can do, against crime and make this a safer community.
All right. Thank you. He did have 10 seconds over if you were wanting your 10 seconds.
No, but I thought I got a rebuttal.
Yeah.
I agree completely with Don. As commissioner, one of the first things that I would do would be to set up a series of meetings with the heads of the primary of Mishawaka and South Bend, Sheriff Redmond, to make sure that there is coordination, because as Don pointed out, there has been a reduction of cooperation and a reduction of funds, and that has to stop. We're not all safe if we're not all doing this together.
Thank you. Mr. McManus, we'll turn back to you. My last question for you is to ask if you would please make your final pitch for why primary voters should select your name on Election Day.
Any of you who saw 1 minute of the hearings for Judge Ketanji Jackson on TV should be horrified. Those Republican senators were not play acting. They were not just reaching out to their base. That was them. That's who they are. We cannot allow that to happen. For decades, we have been, as Democrats and liberals, spoken down to, looked down on. What are your values? You don't have values. What are their values? What have we seen? Corruption, lying, hypocrisy, January 6th, overt and continuing racism. These things must stop. If I'm elected commissioner, I will make it part of my job, even though it's not a national job, part of my job here, because it starts on the local level, to make every one of these Democratic candidates elected and successful. I hope you will join me in that effort.
Thank you, and Dr. Westerhausen.
I'm just going to get it down to the things that I talked about before. I think I'm best qualified because I'm a physician, so I'm used to listening to people complain about things and trying to make it better, and that's what I'd like to try to do. But the other thing is, what's happened in our community is we have lost transparency. We have lost trust, and we have lost competency with the present commissioners that are there. And just look at what was in the paper today, for God's sakes. I mean, we can do better, and I will do better. We need qualities in this position that are going to make people better and give people the benefit of the doubt so that we can, help all working families have a better and safer community.
Thank you to both of our candidates. All right, next up on your program is the remaining contested race in the St. Joseph County Democratic primary, and it is Portage Township trustee. And I would like to give you the following update regarding Rod Goodchild, who is a Democratic candidate for Portage Township trustee. Rod Goodchild wanted to be here this evening, but is unable to participate due to temporary but serious medical issues. Mr. Goodchild asked me to make you aware of the nature of these issues. He was scheduled for surgery on the 17th, but required emergency surgery on the 15th due to complication caused by dangerous kidney stones. He was advised by his doctor to avoid stress for at least 3 weeks after his original surgery, due to the fact that passing a kidney stone could open the incision from this previous surgery. For this reason, he was told to limit or avoid campaigning to protect his health. He is continuing his campaign and looks forward to talking with voters throughout the community beginning on April 8th, when the 3-week restriction ends and he can engage in more active forms of campaigning where stress is not such a complication for his health. Now, because we don't have a debate, we are going to still hear from his opponent, and that is Democrat Jason Critchlow. So Jason, if you could come up. And Jason will make a 60-second opening statement. We do not hold closed or open chair debates with the American Democracy Project or with the League of Women Voters. So instead, I will simply be asking Jason questions. I have told him he'll have 4 minutes or so to answer those questions, so he can use about 60 seconds. If he uses 30, he'll get more questions. But what a prize. So that, because he was prepared to debate in the event that Mr. Goodchild was able to do so. So Jason Critchlow will have first your opening statement.
Sure. So thank you so much, Dr. Benyon, for hosting this today. And I'm here because I love our community and I love the people in it. Every day I'm out speaking with those people. whether it's through my professional career, my civic engagement, or just on the soccer field with my kids. And everyone sees what's going on in the world right now, and everyone feels what's going on in our country. And every family, including my own, is having the same conversations around the kitchen table. And there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of struggle. And we live in a community where 30% of the families are living at or below the poverty level, and thousands more are living paycheck to paycheck, just trying to make ends meet. That means they are one unexpected incident, one emergency away from completely devastating their family. That is unacceptable. Those families don't need more uncertainty in their lives, they need support. There is no family that should have to make the decision between buying food for their family, buying medication for their children, or buying gas to get them to work. Our future depends on having strong families in safe neighborhoods. And that's why I'm here today. I want to build economically stable families throughout the city of South Bend, throughout Portage Township. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, timekeepers, go ahead and put 60 seconds on the clock for each question, and we'll see how many Jason gets through here. All right, here we go. The township trustee is entrusted with distribution of poor relief. What is your overall philosophy about this service? You've discussed it, part of it briefly there. And how would you treat applicants for this relief?
Yeah, so it really is essential. It's one of those offices that's very quiet. As long as things are going well, you don't hear much about it. But I don't think there's any office that's any closer to the working families of the community. The Portage Township Trustee's Office employs caseworkers, and that's literally what they do day in and day out, is work with the families that are in need, folks that need that hand up, folks that are running into a hard time, and their work is extraordinarily important. I think what's most important from the township's office, from the township perspective, we've got trustee candidates here, we've got board candidates here, is equal opportunity. I think that's really what it's about. We're providing access, we're providing support, and it just has to be a level playing field. Everyone has to be able to meet the same requirements. You have to work closely with your board to set those requirements to make sure that they're equitable and fair.
Thank you. Now, what is the biggest issue or challenge facing your township right now, and how would you go about trying to resolve or address it?
Well, actually, the greatest threat, well, I shouldn't say, the greatest challenge right now is kind of a good thing, is the federal government, has done such a great job providing extra funds for local governments to provide support for families, to provide for support municipalities, people that have been hurt by the pandemic. And because of that, there's a lot of social agencies that are actually able to provide a greater benefit right now than trustees' offices are. So there's a lot of referrals that are happening from caseworkers. So one of the challenges right now is, what can we do as a township to help, to utilize our resources to benefit everyone's time. One thing that they're doing is the county's emergency rental assistance fund. The caseworkers of Portage Township are processing those applications. They're not charging the county. Your trustee's office, your township office, is a completely separate form of government. So they could be charging the county for those services, but they're not. They're doing it as a service to the families of this community. So I think there's a lot of ways that I've been outlining when I'm out talking to folks on how the trustee's office can expand services throughout the community, how they can help with education efforts, help with healthcare efforts. Like I said, it's an office that works extraordinarily close and directly with the people. And so finding ways to provide those services to greater benefit is important.
Thank you. The trustee must have a good working relationship with the township, municipal, or county fire department to ensure fire protection for residents and businesses in the township. Do you already have this relationship, or if you don't, how would you go about securing and maintaining it?
Yeah, I do, actually. I reach out to my friend who's in Warren Township. He's been the township trustee out there for a while, Steve Downey. He's also a South Bend Fire Department official, and so there's no person who knows these matters any better. One of the main services that the township provides is fire protection for areas that are outside of municipalities. And really where these townships need to start going is combining services with other townships. That's where those efficiencies come in. We heard how the sheriff's department is answering calls in South Bend, and there's an opportunity for efficiencies there. Well, across the townships, 13 townships in St. Joe County. And just because a call comes in on one side of Larison Road doesn't mean that Portage Township's not going to respond to that, even though their fire department might be closer. They respond. So finding ways to create fire territories, to bring township fire departments all under, one, two, a smaller number of roofs, I think is going to be really important from a good government perspective.
Thank you. The trustees must have some accounting skills since they must prepare an annual financial report for the township board. What accounting skills do you already have, and what is your experience or expertise in this area?
Well, luckily, there's a bookkeeper that works for the township. But, my professional career has been, I'm an administrator in clinical research, so, working with budgets, working with clients on supporting those budgets is something I have a lot of experience in. And then my civic engagement, I serve on numerous boards, commissions. I serve on the County Redevelopment Commission. So handling numbers, handling budgets, especially from a government perspective, is something I have a lot of experience in. And then my master's degree is in public administration, so I feel like I bring a lot to the role.
Thank you. A township trustee is legally responsible for managing all township property, keeping a written record of official proceedings, and keeping those records open for public inspection. What experiences have prepared you to provide this kind of service, and who will help you?
Transparency is key, absolutely, and I think that that's sort of the easy answer, right? Right now, I think the current township trustee, Sean Coleman, the board, some board members are here, do a great job with that. The annual report's right on the website. You can pull it up on your phone right now. You can see where every dollar has gone. That's a practice that I certainly plan to continue and expand as much as I possibly can. I'd like to see every local government unit create some sort of portal where people can actually just go see exactly what contracts are being signed, where the money's going. They don't have to put in APRA requests. They don't have to wait weeks for approval. They can just go there and download it themselves. I would love to explore with the board, putting something in place like that so that we're really arming people with as much information as we can. But then when it comes to township property and things, Portage Township is one of the biggest townships in the state of Indiana. It services 100,000 residents. It's one of the biggest. Now, that being said, it also encompasses the majority of the city of South Bend, and the current township trustee has a philosophy that I agree with, that I don't think it makes sense for another government agency or government service to duplicate services that are already being done really well by the city of South Bend. So when you talk about parks, I think the city Parks Department is doing a really good job. So I don't see myself moving in the direction of duplicating government services like that.
Final question, as an elected official, how will you make yourself accessible to township residents? How can constituents contact you about matters of concern? And what steps will you take to proactively solicit resident feedback?
Well, these days I'm trying to do a little bit better of dialing back and turning the phone off for a couple hours at night to spend it with my family. But my phone number is available to anyone that I meet. It's on all my campaign literature. It'll be on the website for the trustee's office, as is my cell phone. And I'll be in the office. I know a lot of trustees don't spend their time in the office so much. I plan to be in the office 24 hours a day. And then I'm not going to, not 24 hours a day, I'm sorry. The respectable 8 hours a day. But also, I'm going to continue with my other civic involvement, and so it's not really hard pressed to find me or find somebody who knows me. I like to make myself accessible to everyone.
All right, that is Jason Critchlow in 5 minutes.
Thank you.
I am now going to move to that podium because now we come to the point in our program where we will be hearing from candidates. Candidates will be making statements, and we are going to start with a representative who will speak on behalf of the campaign for U.S. 2nd District Member of Congress, Paul Sturry. And I believe Ryan Hill will be speaking.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to give a short statement for Paul, who unfortunately had a prior commitment for tonight. He's running for Congress in the 2nd District. Paul decided to run for Congress because he wants us all to have real representation in this area. He was born and raised on a pig farm south of Decatur, giving him a bit of an affinity for agriculture and work there. He later moved on to Camp Mac with his family for his dad's work, where he gained a lifelong love of nature there. And that's been an important factor in his deciding to run with the issues we have in our state, with recent stories coming out about the most polluted waterways in the country. He has a BA in sociology from Goshen's Bethany College and a master's in outdoor resource management. And he really cares about making sure that we have a clean environment for our families and kids, and making sure that we can get that to work in line with our agriculture industry and farmers so that clean energy and clean farming are part of our economic policy. The campaign slogan is Paul for All, because Paul is running to support everyone in the community. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Our next minute at the mic is Indiana State Senate District 11 candidate, Mindy Fountain.
Hello, everyone. My name is Melinda Fountain, and you all can call me Mindy. I am a native-born Hoosier. I was born in Lafayette, and I grew up on a farm in White County and then in the city of LaPorte. My family's lived in Michiana for more than 3 generations, and my family and I live in Granger. I've served our country as a U.S. diplomat for over a decade, and I now work as an educator at the University of Notre Dame. I'm running because I believe in a better future for our country and our state, and especially for our children. There are 3 key issues I would focus on as your representative. First, an economy that prioritizes people. Second, an education system that supports students, families, and especially our teachers. And environmental policies that protect our planet and the health of all Hoosiers. In our country today, our problems are complex, but the solution is simple. Elect representatives who will act in the interest of all Hoosiers. Thank you for your consideration and your vote in November.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for keeping that to 60 seconds. We turn next to incumbent District 6 Representative Maureen Bauer.
Hello, good evening. I am Maureen Bauer. I'm the state representative of House District 6, which includes parts of South Bend in St. Joseph County. It's been the greatest honor serving my hometown as state representative, and as the ranking minority member of the House Agriculture and Rural Development Committee, I remain committed and continue to prioritize policy that protects our farmland and our waterways, ensures that our natural resources are protected. I ensure that we will have safe working environments and that no one is exposed to toxic chemicals while on the job or while in their home, and that we continue to create advancements in affordable housing opportunities in the state of Indiana. And while this year was particularly challenging in the state legislature, I commit to remain focused on the issues that are most important to you and that we create better pathways to help working families in the state of Indiana. I thank you again for the opportunity to serve, and I ask for your vote to continue to serve as your state representative. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Bauer. We turn now to Indiana House of Representatives, District 7 candidate, Ross Deal. Your program lists all the candidates on both the Republican and Democratic primary ballot. So you will see he has 3 potential opponents come next November.
Thank you, Dr. Binion. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ross Deal, running for State Representative, Indiana House District 7. During the last 18 years, the GOP supermajority has controlled the State House. During that time, we have seen Indiana fall among the list of states on issues such as education, health care, environment, workers' rights, and wages. Bottom line is that supermajorities are not good for representative government. It's time that we reclaim state government for the people of Indiana. By electing me as your representative, you will have someone who will listen to you, who will hear you, and who will carry your voice to the State House. Good government starts by voting. I urge all of you to vote, to encourage people you know to vote, so that we can break the supermajority in Indianapolis and reclaim our state government for the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We did not hear back from District 8 incumbent Ryan Dvorak, so we move next to Circuit County Judge, incumbent John Broden.
Thank you, Dr. Benyon. I'm John Broden, and I'm honored to be your Circuit Court Judge. In the last 5 years, working together with our partners in state and county government, we have fully implemented electronic filing in all St. Joseph County courts, enhancing access to the public to our local courts. We have remade our juror notification system, making it much more user-friendly to prospective jurors. And most recently, we have secured $1 million to upgrade technology in all our civil courts. The Circuit Court does much more than just judge cases. We oversee the adult probation department as well as community corrections. We operate the only full-service protective order court in the state of Indiana, and we oversee the Veterans Court for St. Joseph County. But in the end, our most important function is to judge each and every case fairly and impartially and make sure our courts are open and accessible to all litigants in St. Joseph County. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Judge Broden. We are going to turn next to County Auditor candidate John Murphy.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Murphy, and I'm running for County Auditor. Why am I running? The auditor is an important position. The county spends about $790 million a year. That's more than most companies around here. A lot of it's other people's money. It's the city of South Bend's money or somebody else, so we have to take care of that money. I have the education and experience to be your auditor. I have a degree in accounting from University of Notre Dame, passed the CPA exam, have 2 master's degrees, one from IU South Bend, this SPIA Public Administration program. During the past, at the city of South Bend, I worked with Mayor Lickey and Mayor Pete on many projects. One was Mayor Pete's parental leave program. I helped determine how to fund that. I think that was one of his signature projects. I think that's something maybe we could adopt in the county. During the past 4.5 years as Chief Deputy Auditor, we've made great strides. I see the council members here. We've made great strides. Our general fund revenue, our general fund reserves are up 32%. We've eliminated a deficit of $5 million in our health insurance fund. And we do that not to accumulate money. We do that to provide money so that projects can be completed and employees can be paid. I grew up in South Bend and went to school in Mishawaka. I currently live in Penn Township with my wife, Christine. We have 3 adult children and 2 grandchildren. In closing, I'm passionate about public service. People who are around the County City Building know that. And I have the education and experience to do this job.
Thank you. We will now hear from St. Joseph County Assessor candidate Ted Booker. And if you follow in your program, candidates, you'll know when you are the next person, and feel free to queue at the bottom of the stairs.
Thank you, Dr. Benyon. So I'm Ted Booker, and I'm a candidate for St. Joseph County Assessor. I'm a native of Holland, Michigan, and I earned my bachelor's degree from Grand Valley State University in West Michigan. For a decade, I was a newspaper reporter, and I worked for 3 years for the South Bend Tribune before transitioning in 2019 to the Elkhart County Assessor's Office, where I work in the appeals department. And I'm a certified level 3 assessor with the state of Indiana. So why am I running for assessor? In short, I believe change is needed. In 2020, taxpayers filed more than 6,200 appeals in St. Joseph County. And that was the most among counties statewide. And so I think we can do a better job with that by improving communication with taxpayers. And I'll also strive to more accurately assess property values so that taxpayers don't pay more or less than their fair share of taxes. And that's going to be my main goal. Thank you.
Thank you. As Mr. Booker was talking about his plans and knowing that we don't get to hear too much about how he'll do that, I want to take this opportunity to encourage people to make sure to check out vote411.org before they go to the polls. Candidates, you will be getting an invitation to participate and answer some questions. Load your answers to that guide in the next few days, so do please check your email for that. And also, Ted, as a former journalist, perhaps noticed the ABC 57 camera is right back there. And ABC 57 is a very gracious partner in this effort. They are taping candidate statements for us, and we'll be playing those and also making them available to us to link to the guide. And so we appreciate that very much. It is a service we made available to all Democratic and Republican primary candidates. We turn now to St. Joseph County incumbent Sheriff Bill Redmond.
Thank you, Dr. Binion. I am Bill Redmond, Sheriff of St. Joseph County. I have served with the County Police Department for the past 28 years, the past 3 as your elected sheriff. I think my actions speak very loudly here in our community. When I campaigned 4 years ago, I said that I would be a more active sheriff and visible to our community members. I think we have done that. I wanted to be a more proactive sheriff, and I think our sheriff's department has come a long way in being more proactive than ever before. It was mentioned here earlier about us working with South Bend and other local police departments. We have done that tremendously and worked well with those individuals. So as sheriff, I want to continue doing those things. I've been a huge advocate about mental health and trying to get people that need assistance with mental health the help that they need and keep those individuals out of our jail that don't belong there. So I would love to continue being your sheriff for the next 4 years and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Redmond. You will notice if you're looking at all of the candidates on the ballot that we do have a prosecuting attorney, Ken Cotter, who is running for re-election. He hoped to be here today. He did have a prior engagement, tried to juggle things around, but couldn't quite make it, but had hoped to be here. So you can talk directly to him or look at the Vote 411 to learn more. We are going to turn next to county council candidates, and we will start with County Council District A candidate, Bobby Krasinski. Did I get it right, Bobby? All these years, and I'm not getting it.
Bobby K.
That's what I always hear, and that's what I should just default to.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Binion, for giving us the opportunity to be here. I am currently the District A County Council person representing District A, which I followed Mr. Hammond. Big shoes to fill, but I'm seeking my 3rd term, and I look forward to serving the residents of District A. It's been my priority as a council member, going back to what the commissioner candidates indicated a few minutes ago. Infrastructure is a big deal with me, based on my 50-plus years in public service, starting from the ground up, from summer help jobs to working for the city of South Bend, to managing the sanitation department, being highway commissioner for St. Joseph County for 17 years. I think I know a little bit about infrastructure, and I can't agree more with the commissioner candidates in regards to infrastructure and public safety. I've been a strong supporter of Sheriff Redmond and the Sheriff's Department, and I look forward to continue to do that. And I would appreciate your vote this evening and everyone else's vote, and thank you very much.
All right, we will turn next to District E, incumbent Diana Hess.
Thank you, Dr. Binion. I'm Diana Hess, and I am seeking reelection for County Council District E, a position I've held since 2013. So I would bring to the office the experience that I have, along with always doing my homework and approaching every decision thoughtfully and deliberately. My top priorities are public health, public safety, and responsible economic development that helps support the working families in St. Joseph County. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana Hess. We turn next to the candidate for County Council District H, Brian Tanner.
Thank you, Dr. Binion. My name is Brian Tanner, and I'm excited to serve as your County Council District H representative. It's a district bounded by McKinley, Ironwood, Dragoon, and Beeger in areas of South Bend and Mishawaka. The reason I'm looking forward to serve is I care deeply about the cultural fabric of our community, and equally so, as a father and husband, I care about the future of our community, the trajectory of jobs and public safety. Beyond that, with my 15-year background in civil engineering, I look deeply into supporting our infrastructure, one of the most expensive aspects of our civil budget. Beyond that, I'm just excited to serve. It's been a few years since I had the opportunity to serve for 4 years as our City of Mishawaka Council representative. And between that and my professional background, I look forward to bringing those capabilities toward the legislative and fiscal responsibilities of the County Council. Thank you very much.
Okay, we turn now to other township trustees. Do we have Jennifer Robinson or Stephen Downey here? Okay, and I know Bill Price is here. Where are you, Bill? Okay, all right. Okay, Bill, why don't you make your way down? The Clay Township trustee, Sean O'Brien, wanted to be here. His Christmas gift for his son was a professional basketball game in Chicago, so that was long ago promised, and he was very sorry not to be able to make it. So we will turn to Harris Township trustee candidate, Bill Price.
Okay, thank you. My name is Bill Price, and I'm running for Harris Township trustee. My wife and I moved to Harris Township about 23 years ago, and we raised our family there. We love our community very much because of our great neighbors and excellent schools. I'm running for Township trustee because I want to bring new ideas and new energy to the office and make the community the best place to raise a family. Transparency and accessibility are my two main themes. Transparency is key to ensuring the community knows how the township board operates and spends its dollars. Currently, board meetings are called at the convenience of the board. If I'm elected a trustee, I will announce board meetings for a full year and will reach out to local businesses, churches, and schools to help them get the word out about upcoming board meetings. To ensure accessibility, the Harris Township trustee office will have open office hours for anyone to come in and ask questions and get some more information about the workings of Harris Township. If you agree, I ask you to join me in my campaign and your support in November. Thank you.
Okay, I don't believe that Christopher Bowman, Center Township, or Jamie Brown, Clay Township are here this evening. I should say that Michelle Shaw planned to join us. She is running for Clay Township Board, and unfortunately, she is ill, but I know she's watching the live stream and also recruited others to watch from home. So we do appreciate people telling people to check us out online. We'll turn now to the German Township Board. This actually is a contested race. There are 6 candidates, and 3 of those chose to join us here tonight to talk directly to voters. We will start first with Rudy Monterosa, Jr.
Hello, I'm Rudy Monterosa, running to serve on the German Township Advisory Board. I have been a resident of German Township when I bought my first home back in 2001 in the Arbor Point subdivision. Excuse me, it was 2003. I've ran my own law firm since November of 2001 here in beautiful South Bend, Indiana. I, along with my beautiful wife, Cecilia Lopez Monterosa, have dedicated my career to being an advocate for the unheard and standing up for those who wanted to fight for justice. I previously served on the South Bend School Board during what can only be described as a time of great fear and uncertainty. That experience to me allowed me to learn how to work well with others and how best to communicate with our constituency. As a longtime resident of German Township, I want to bring that experience home. I seek the vote of German Township residents because I love where I live, I want to keep it safe, and I want to support my community. Vote for leadership, vote for transparency, vote for Rudy Monterosa for German Township Board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We hear next from David Hoffman Jr.
Hello, my name is David Hoffman Jr. I am born and raised here in South Bend, grew up over on Kenmore Street over by the airport, went to Corpus Christi, St. Joe High School, Holy Cross College, and now I live over off of Brick, so I haven't moved too far in my 40 years. And I'm looking to run for German Township as well. I've done shipping and receiving for about 15 years. I've been a paraprofessional over at Brown Intermediate, and I currently run the Savory Kernel Popcorn Store, if any of you have been there, over in Granger. I also coach Ultimate Frisbee at Notre Dame, which is a passion of mine. And I just enjoy helping people. I'm new to politics, learning a lot about it, and glad to meet all of you people as well. And I'm looking forward to helping out the people in my community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Finally, we hear from German Township Board candidate Kevin McClanahan.
Hello and thank you. My name is Kevin McClanahan. I was born and raised in German Township, and I've spent most of my life there. Seen a lot of farmland go, new industry coming in, and a lot of growth there. German Township is one of the unique in that we have our own building, and within that building, we rent that out to the community out from German Township and in German Township, but this building can be used for a little bit more. We can set up computers for kids to bring them in, teachers, bring them in, help the students that need help, and it's about the community. The community also behind German Township has a little park that the people that are in there right next to the fire department, that you can bring your kid out there, play in the swings, and be protected because they're there. So there's a lot more that we can do. I would appreciate your vote and German Township's vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move now to Harris Township Board, and we will hear from Eric Gates Jansen.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Gates Jansen, and I'm running for Harris Township Board. I'm running for office to bring people together. For too long, Hoosiers have been divided into an us versus them mentality, and that's caused gridlock and wounded relationships and fear. But I think we have more things in common than we have differences. We all want safe places for our children to grow up. We all want strong and connected neighborhoods. We all want a planet that will provide for future generations. As a science teacher for 27 years and father of 5, I feel that I'm uniquely suited to accomplish these goals. I have experience bringing stakeholders together to meet common goals. Over the years in various leadership positions, I've held countless meetings with parents and students, teachers, and administrators, and the goal is always the same, to foster collaboration with the groups in order to achieve the best outcome. I know how to collaborate to make decisions and solve problems, and those are exactly the kinds of skills needed on the Township Board position. My name is Eric Gates Jansen, and I plan to make sure that Harris Township is safe, strong, and has the ability to endure for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Hoping to join Eric Gates Jansen on the board is Jeff Parrott, and he is with his family on spring break. So they did have to fly out earlier today, a pre-booked flight, so Jeff was unable to be here. In Olive Township, Robert Middlebrook is running for the township board, but we turn now to Penn Township and to Lacey Hahn.
Hello, St. Joe County residents. My name is Lacey Hahn, and I am running again for Penn Township Board for my second term. In my time on the board, I am proud to say that I helped get our new $4 million fire station built that has facilities for our men and our women firefighters, which was very important moving forward. It's also closer to our numerous homes, businesses, and schools that we service. The fire station is also built to last 75 years, which I thought was pretty cool, learning that and being a part of it. As a township member, I have assisted in making sure that the Mishawaka Food Pantry and the Trustees Assistance Office stayed open during the COVID crisis. I also voted for bonuses for the staff who risked their lives daily coming in to assist those people and during that very scary time. I currently am the only Democrat on an all-Republican board, which can be very fun, but they still have nominated and elected me secretary 2 of my 4 years on the board. I do believe that I've brought the insight and balance needed to make sure that the tax dollars allotted to us have been used and are used to serve the most people in our community with the most need, and also supply our brave firemen and women with the tools that they need to save lives. For more information, you can look me up on Facebook, Lacey Hahn for Penn Township, and my information is also available on the Penn Township website. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We will hear next from Justin Sparzinski.
Hello, I would like to greet you all this evening in the style I've come to know and love from the late, great Mr. Christopher Hitchens. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, and I hope comrades and friends, welcome. My name is Justin Sparzinski, and I'm running for a seat in the Penn Township Advisory Board. I'm a third-generation, lifelong resident of St. Joe County. I have so far 15 years of service in the Indiana National Guard and veteran of 2 of the Global War on Terror theaters, Iraq and Afghanistan, respectively. I have been an IUE-CWA member for the last 9 years in Local 84913 Office Sample, and through them became an inaugural member of the CWA Veterans for Social Change in 2019, which is through the CWA Human Rights Wing. In between that time, I've been with the IUE-CWA Political Action Committee for approximately 7 years. Through them, I've done a myriad of door knocking, phone banking, state and federal labor candidates, as well as a handful of lobbying trips in our national capital for friendly labor legislation. In short, I'm finally running for local office because I think I've helped the rest of you enough. Because I believe it's time. I've always strived for do more good within the system than outside of it. This is not New York, it's not Alabama. I'd like to bring a little bit more of a pragmatic version of legislative work as well with the tax dollars with whoever else is elected with me in November. Thank you much.
Thank you very much, Justin. I don't think I saw Kent Heiser or Cheryl Ash here. No? Okay. All right. You already met Ryan Hill, but I'll have him come up now to speak on his own behalf. He is a candidate for Portage Township Board.
Hello, everyone. I get to be me this time, which is always nice. So my name is Ryan Hill. I'm a current board member on Portage Township, along with Cheryl Ash and Mohammed Shabazz. I am running again for the office. I'm a graduate of IUSB with a bachelor's in political science and history, and my master's is in public policy from the University of Denver. My work there was focused on low wages in Indiana and different ways to maintain income levels here. Excuse me. So in Portage Township, 1 in 4 township residents are living at the poverty level or below. The township boards, along with the trustees, work to support our low-income residents and kind of help with anti-poverty measures with rent, utility assistance, medicines, and other things. So we are helping some of the most vulnerable members in the community. We are currently working on expanding township support for insulin assistance and other options to move funds from unused areas into necessary things like possibly childcare or vital hygiene products, et cetera. And we have a good team with Mohammed, Cheryl, and I. So we're running to make sure the township has the best support for its people. I hope you'll all send us back to keep up the good work. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And so now I'd like to call to the stage Mohammed Shabazz. Oh, okay. Like, I don't see. Okay, he had to leave for childcare reasons. Okay. All right. Well, that actually concludes our candidates, unless there are any candidates who snuck in and are not on my list but are on a primary ballot. All right. So, we appreciate all of the candidates who came this evening to share with you in their own words why they are running for office. You can tell that they care about the community. We are very pleased that they were here today to talk directly to voters. I encourage all candidates, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or other minor party, to take advantage of opportunities for discussion, debate, and public forums. We also hope that the candidates will fill out the Vote 411 questionnaires. That's another way that voters can get to know more about you. Now the people here live will have an opportunity for a networking reception in the lobby. If you go down a very, very brief, short little hallway, there's a little alcove area, and there are some refreshments there that you can enjoy while you talk with one another. We thank the voters who came here, and also those watching online on behalf of the League of Women Voters, the American Democracy Project, and the ABC 57 News. We also are very thankful for the St. Joseph County Public Library for co-sponsoring with us and hosting us here in this newly renovated auditorium. Thank you all, and don't forget to vote.